The United States beaten 4-0 by Morocco in the Olympic quarterfinals. Herculez Gomez now joining the show, and the bad news for Herc is that he also had to be up at 6 a.m. to actually catch this game as well. Herc, 6 a.m. for a performance like this. How are you feeling after it? What are your thoughts on what you saw?
I got bags under my eyes, and for what? Actually, you know what, Kay? As expected, I mean, you have to keep things in perspective. It's the first time the U.S. youth national team, because it's a U23 tournament with 3 overage players, 3 reinforcements, has been back to the knockout rounds in 24 years. And when you look at this lineup, this 11, I mean, they lost who they were supposed to lose to, and they beat who they were supposed to beat in New Zealand and Guinea. But if you look at this lineup with the possible 11 of U23 age-eligible players who weren't in this game or weren't even in the Olympics, and that depends for the clubs because it's not a FIFA-sanctioned tournament, so they can say, we're not releasing you and these players don't go. You're talking about players like Yunus Musa, Ricardo Pepi. You're talking about players like Gio Reyna, Joe Scally, Johnny Cardoso, Malik Tillman, Folarin Balogun, first-team players with the national team that aren't here. So I find myself asking myself if I should be overly critical of what Marko Mitrovic did not do with this team in the setup, of what they were not able to do, despite it being 24 years since the last time they were in a knockout round versus a team in Morocco that you have to give a lot of credit to. The growth of Moroccan football has been something else. All these players on the Moroccan side, they don't play domestic football. They play abroad. Hakimi was released by PSG. Rahimi's the leading goal scorer of this tournament. He scored another goal today, by the way, so I can't be too upset, but it has me wondering what could have been. But a lot of this that you see online has been misplaced anger, ire, and I get it. It's been a hell of a summer for U.S. soccer fans on the men's side. Their team in Copa America just crashed out in embarrassing fashion. They were the host country, by the way, of this tournament, and they're out in a group that they had Bolivia and Panama and Uruguay, certainly, but those other two, and they couldn't get past. So I understand the ire. And look, listen, Greg Berhalter is gone for that. But this right here, I'm finding myself torn in between applauding a team for making it out into the knockout round, or simply, quite frankly, getting to the Olympics because it's been quite some time, and ripping them to shreds for what? For a B/C team that couldn't beat a very good Moroccan team, a Moroccan team that's going to contend for a gold medal. So I'm a little torn here.
Well, let's hear what Walker Zimmerman had to say, because he had some harsh words actually after this. So we've got the quote from him. He said, players feel like just because we're whoever you are, that you can just get called in. That stuff pees me off. I think guys need to, every time they put on the jersey, I don't care how talented you are, you want to play with pride. I think we have the characters to do it, but we don't always do it. What do you think of what Zimmerman had to say here, Herc?
Shots fired, Kay. And it's not the first time we've heard this. We've heard Tim Ream mention this before in the past. Quite frankly, that was a sense many of us in the media, many of us who cover this team, this national team, on a weekly basis, whether the club teams and how they perform there or don't perform, and when they come into the U.S. men's national team program, this pool got complacent. They definitely didn't feel like they were being tested. Whatever the case may be, in the Greg Berhalter era, they somewhat felt too comfortable. And listen, you got a coach in Stevie Nicol on that panel could tell you that's the last thing you want your players to feel is comfortable. They got complacent, they got comfortable, and the results were there. They regressed, in the second term under Greg Berhalter, and I think this has a lot to do with it. He's been in that locker room, and I'm talking about Walker Zimmerman. He's a veteran, a World Cup veteran. He's a guy who's played in big games, whether it be with the national team or whether it be in domestic football and Major League Soccer. He's been there, he's done that. But he's of that locker room, so he's seen things, that we've not been privy to. So this has me confirming what we already knew this summer, which was these players got complacent. They got too comfortable under Greg Berhalter.
Okay, so they will not be, this group of players that we're talking about in the Olympics will not be in the semi-finals, and this is how they are shaping up. It will be France taking on Egypt and Morocco taking on Spain. Both of these games will be played on Monday. Elsewhere, Olivier Giroud has been introduced at LAFC. Back with Hugo Lloris as a free agent, and we'll be seeing a lot more of him over this side of the world as well. Herc, you excited about this?
Very excited. Listen, say what you want about his age. That's a quality footballer. That's a guy that got double-digit goals and was a very good player for long stretches of the Milan season, one of their best players, who's now in Major League Soccer. He was just competing with France, that very talented French pool in the Euros, and he's now here with a team, by the way, that is flying. That doesn't necessarily need Olivier Giroud, but will take a player of that caliber. And now, if they weren't already favorites, well, they certainly are now. This is a player that's going to add tons to Major League Soccer. And I'll tell you what, it's very interesting talking to Olivier Giroud. We had him on Football Americas last night, and we asked him about Antoine Griezmann because he mentioned that he was a little bit jealous of Giroud coming down here and that he knows how jealous he is of that. John Thorrington wasn't at the presser to introduce a player like Olivier Giroud, a DP, a marquee player for that franchise. And I'm asking myself, what type of president doesn't show up for the unveiling of such player? Well, guess where he is? He's in France right now. Doing what? I don't know. But guess who else may be in or around that area who may be in or out of Atletico Madrid? That's right. That is Antoine Griezmann. Conor Gallagher, if he goes. Julian Alvarez, if he goes. These players could maybe facilitate a move out for Antoine Griezmann, who's also stated, like Olivier Giroud, that it is a dream of his to come and play in Major League Soccer. Man, this would be quite a week, quite a window for John Thornton and LAFC if they can pull off Olivier Giroud and Antoine Griezmann in the same window.
Oh, we hope for more speculation like this on the latest Football Americas. You heard Herc. He said that Olivier Giroud joins the boys, Sevi and Herc, on Football Americas. Thanks for being with us, Herc. Make sure to go and check out the latest edition, which is available now on ESPN+. It is Bonjour, Olivier Giroud.